Hello, clever people, and welcome to my review for Serenity. So Serenity is a movie starring Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway and Jason Clarke, star-studded cast, and it follows the story of this guy who hangs out on this very small island. It's called Plymouth. It's in the middle of nowhere. And one day a woman comes and offers him $10 million to dump her husband in the middle of the sea and just leave him for the sharks. And it's about him facing the moral dilemma with that and if he wants to do it or not. And it's also about a whole lot else that I will not spoil. So Serenity was a weird movie for me. It was coming out in October, and I thought that was interesting with a cast like that. And I think that I had a good director. I was thinking maybe the studio thought Oscar about it. Then they pushed it over to January, and I didn't know why it wasn't January, what they were doing there. And then I saw the movie. I was expecting something bad because it was coming out in January, but Serenity is honestly very underrated. This is one of the weirdest movies I have ever seen. It is so obscure, and where the plot goes within a few minutes is... You'll be shocked. Not within a few minutes. It takes a while, like probably halfway through the movie, the plot makes a turn and becomes something completely different than what you were expecting. And honestly, this movie kind of reminds me of the Book of Henry. When the Book of Henry came out, people hated it because there were a lot of stupid things in it. And I just thought the movie was okay. And people said that it's a good example of how not to subvert expectations. And I feel like Serenity, it kind of has the same vibe to me. I ended up liking Serenity a lot more because the Book of Henry had too many cliche dumb things in it. This movie doesn't. It's actually quite original, and I thought that it was interesting. My biggest issue with it is that the movie tries very, very hard to have a very cool style to it, and when you realize why it's stylized in the way that it is, it makes sense, but before you realize what it's for, it's completely distracting and it pulls you out of the movie. I'm all for having style in a movie that doesn't make sense and it makes sense later on, but you still need to keep your audience invested beforehand. You can't just leave them with nothing and have them completely confused with what's going on. And it distracted me and it pulled me out of the movie, and I didn't like that. And also, the movie does try to have heart too much when it shouldn't. This movie, it shouldn't have heart in it. It's not a movie for that. But in the end, I still liked Serenity because I thought the performances were really good, and the movie does get really creative with its story. And when you realize what it's actually about, it actually becomes quite entertaining. And I'm not gonna lie, I was hooked to the screen. I wanted to know what was going to happen. I wanted to know how the movie was going to go forward. And I was surprised by that, because this movie is terribly reviewed, has a terrible Rotten Tomatoes score, has like a 2 on Letterboxd as an average. But I liked it. I honestly did. And I'm very, very happy that I got to go see Serenity. I would encourage people to go see it. I think... Don't know anything about it going in, throw the trailer out of your mind, it's nothing like the trailer, and go in and you'll actually be entertained. I can't say too much about it because if I do, I'll get into spoilers, but the performances were good, the movie kept me interested, and I can't ask for much more than that. I'm going to give Serenity a 6 out of 10. Alright, that concludes my review for Serenity. So, what are your thoughts on this film, or what is your favorite Matthew McConaughey performance? Comment in the comment section below and let me know. I'm Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.